Today, a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with a high of 85. By Thursday, it's up to 88, and even 90 is a high for Friday. We're staying dry all week again, no rain anywhere in the forecast, and the weekend looks nice. Monday, fall arrives on the calendar, but it'll still feel like summer. Sunshine and a high of 87. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make the point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network on a Talking Tuesday. My, oh my, was Dabo Swinney in, I would say rare form, but no, it's not rare for us to visit the Church of Dabo and be sermonized as we were today. Lordy, we'll bring you the best part of that. It wasn't about the Syracuse team, or it wasn't about his team's woes. It's about his program. You know, every so often, Dabo likes to go off and defend his program, even though what does he need to defend? When you win national championships, what do you need to defend? Your record should speak for itself, but he felt the need today to get out there and answer the critics that he says he doesn't listen to. The only way he knows –
Yeah, right.
Well, I just going by what he said. He doesn't read the media. You know, he doesn't read social media, and he doesn't, pay attention to this stuff. He only knows it because this is what he said. He gets text messages from people that he hasn't heard from in a while, and when they say they're praying for him, then he knows there are people out there that are saying bad things about him and about his program. So when he gets those text messages – from somebody that says, I'm praying for you, Dabo, then he knows something's up. The fact that they're 1-2 and out of the top 25 for the first time in a couple of years, that's not sign enough. But tell him you're praying for him. He gets the idea there's people not happy with the 1-2 start. So we'll have that coming your way tonight. Also, Shane Beamer, not on the defensive so much with his team today, and both coaches are sort of like, we lost on Saturday, but, Dabo's still convinced he has a great team with great players, and they just need to make a play here or there, get a stop here or there, and they're right back to where they need to be. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I mean, you look at the fact that they were leading LSU at the half and couldn't hold on in the second half, and then you look at the fact that they were tied with Georgia Tech at the end and couldn't stop Georgia Tech from going down and kicking a field goal. Ifs, ands, or buts, I get that. Of course, they were trailing 16-0 to Troy. I mean, the big picture is they haven't played Clemson championship football in any of their 3 games to this point. And they got to find it. They got to find that it thing, that it factor. And same thing with Shane Beamer today. They haven't played their best game yet. They haven't put it all together. They haven't played complimentary football yet. The offense hasn't had its big moments, and the defense hasn't come up with its necessary stops, even though they're 2-1. And you look at the Virginia Tech game, but that Virginia Tech win looks smaller and smaller as the season progresses. I mean, Old Dominion ran roughshod over Old Dominion. Then again, Clemson rallying to beat Troy, not such a big deal because Memphis ran roughshod over Troy. So what does that say? So really they got nothing to feel good about right now. They really have got nothing to feel good about between the two teams. And it's time for them to turn it around, Bergie. It's time. There's no time like the present time to turn it around. Clemson, a pretty significant favorite over a Syracuse team that's going to pass you dizzy. They're going to throw the ball all over the place. And Dabo Swinney himself has criticized his secondary, calling them soft, and he's not happy with that. And then South Carolina's got to go to Missouri. They've got a red-hot quarterback. Now, they haven't played anybody at Missouri, and they got these huge offensive numbers, and it's probably a little bit misleading, if not a lot misleading. So maybe they're not as good as their numbers indicate, or maybe they are. But South Carolina, I mean, at least publicly right now, we don't know if Lenore Sellers is going to be the Gamecock quarterback. Luke Doty would stand to be the starting quarterback if Lenore Sellers is not. I happen to think, Zach didn't feel – I mean, look, coaches see things in a different light than people like I do. I mean, I'm no experienced college player or coach or anything like that. I thought Luke Doty went in there and did an okay job. Maybe the fact he didn't get him in the end zone is a negative. Maybe the fact he threw a red zone interception is a negative. But considering he hadn't played a whole bunch, I thought he went out there on Saturday and made some plays and ran and completed some passes and moved the team. But he's got to do better. They all got to do better. So that's what we got for you tonight on a Talking Tuesday, the head coaches. Plus, Josh Harris from Darlington will talk about a very close finish at Bristol and the first round of the playoffs behind. We say goodbye to 4 drivers, including your favorite, Bergie. Doesn't matter how many road races are left. It's not going to save SVG and get him into the championship 4.
Nor should it. I mean, NASCAR's got to figure out a way. You can't have a guy who's just really, really good on one set of racetracks and terrible at everywhere else and have him in the playoffs. It's a ridiculous setup. And so there's nothing they can do about it because they want to be like all the other stick and ball sports. So they have the playoffs and it's set up the way it is. But, yeah, you just had to look at Shane Van Gisbergen, and that may change. He may turn into an outstanding driver. But right now the only thing he can do in NASCAR is drive the road courses. That should not be good enough to qualify you for the playoffs. It is, but I think it's silly. So I think what it has done, the first round and the second round, but certainly the first round, has weeded out some of the pretenders, including he and Josh Berry and Alex Bowman, who's just had a miserable year. So, I mean, those guys are gone along with Austin Dillon. So now you start getting into the guys who legitimately have a shot, and you certainly will after the next round when we get to the final 8. You'll really be in the mix with the guys who legitimately have a shot to win the championship.
Absolutely. All right, our phone number, 888-898-2525. And we got a couple lines open, and we'll take your phone calls here right off the bat, so go ahead and give us a call, 888-898-2525. And the text line number brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance here in Columbia. That number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. Your thoughts on things I just touched on?
Dabo is fascinating, some of the stuff he said today. I wanted to start with his comments about if we stink because we haven't played for a national championship since 2020, then why are we held to a different standard than all of those other teams out there? On the surface, that's a very fair point for him to make. The problem is, and what has angered Clemson fans and why they're upset at 1 and 2 is, Phil, we were all sold a bill of goods going into the preseason that this Clemson team was as good as some of the ones that Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson had. Cade Klubnik was going to be the next guy. He was going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. They had an offense that was going to score 50 points a game, and nobody was going to move the football on the defense. So that's why he's getting criticism, because they have not lived up to anywhere close to the preseason hype. Whether or not that's fair to them, and we're now 3 games in, so maybe this is exactly who Clemson is. But the problem is the fans were told earlier in the season that this team was going to be contending for a national championship. They were going to have a Heisman Trophy potential winning quarterback for the first time in school history. And none of that has materialized through the first 3 games. Dabo's got to know that. And I get him defending his program, but here's the reason that people, certainly Clemson fans, are upset with he and the program, is because they were expecting a whole lot more than 1 and 2 through 3 games.
So let's talk about that for a moment. Let's trace where this is coming from. Let's go back to the spring and the summer. Obviously, coaches are going to talk up their programs. They're going to talk up their teams. I think that's a given. So forget that. They're going to say positive things in the offseason. because they do want to build interest and they want to build up their players. They're going to do that. But where else is it coming from that convinced the AP voters, that convinced the media of all types that both South Carolina and Clemson were going to be these playoff contenders, these superpowers? Now, let's keep in mind this. We're talking the here and now. They might make a run, and both might finish up just fine.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
I'm not discounting that. I'm just talking about, let's talk about, like, in real time, the here and now. They are what they are. After 3 games, you're kind of what you are, you know. And, yeah, you can make some personnel changes. Something might spark you, but you're kind of what you are after 3 games. So here we are, you know. Clemson's 1-2. Gamecocks are 2-1. Both are coming off losses. So where's it coming from? You know, both of these schools, both of these programs have tremendous hype machines within their programs that live on social media. You know, they have, I don't know how many people that they employ whose sole purpose is to build up the positives for both of these programs. And not just them. I mean, practically all the big-time programs do. They have their video people, they have their social media people. Their job, and their job only, is to take garbage and to turn it into sugar, you know. And that's what they do. That's what they do all day long, every day, 12 months out of the year, is build up, build up, build up. Now, part of that is why. Get your fan base excited. Get your fan base hyped. Get your fan base believing. Okay, that's fine. What does that do? That gets your fan base buying tickets, number one. Number two, it convinces your fan base to contribute to whatever collective or NIL source, or if there's still an IPTAY or a Gamecock club, it gets them reaching into their pockets. You know, schools are not going to, you know, if they go dead silent like they used to be, didn't say anything and just went out and played the game and then they proved it one way or the other, fine. Now it's 12 months of hype, and they're not going to downplay anything. Like, I guarantee you here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to hear about how good South Carolina and Clemson basketball is going to be this coming season. And get your tickets, by the way, because they're going to be exciting contenders, even though I'm sure South Carolina will be voted last in the preseason for the SEC. And
Sure.
And Clemson, with all their losses, their new players, I mean, they were a tournament team last year, though they lost in the first round. Now, they might be voted in the middle of the pack. But you're going to see the hype coming out about the basketball teams as well. It's what it's become with all these schools around the country. Hype, hype, hype. People buy into it. And then when it doesn't pan out, this is what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is this happening? We were told this. And, of course, you've got the you got websites. I'm gonna give some websites credit. Some team websites actually have some honesty to them and have writers who aren't under the thumb of the people they cover. Some do. Most don't, but some do. I admire the ones that don't allow that to happen, who are willing to, as Will Muschamp would say, stick their face in the fan and take the punishment. They're willing to write what they see and what they know with their own eyes, and not be persuaded by the created hype. But there's too many that don't, and people read that stuff, and people buy into that stuff, the fluff, the constant buildup, and then they wonder why. Why are we 1-2? We got all these 5-star recruits. You know, my coach says that my quarterback is one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the nation. And on and on and on. So maybe they should take a little bit of a lesson in being, under. What's the good expression? Under
promise,
under
over
promise and over deliver. Yeah, maybe they should take that approach. Then you'd all be a hero, and then if not, people wouldn't be surprised. I mean, just you could say things like, "I've got a good team this year. We'll see what happens." But no, so many of these coaches and definitely these programs and these video teams and social media teams within these programs, it's constant hype, and oftentimes the teams don't deliver. What about Florida? I'm not picking on the plumber here because this team sucks, but I mean, let's face it, the Gators stink. But I'm sure in the preseason. Well, Plummer bought into it.
Well, they were top 15?
They
Weren't
were
they in the preseason.
I think they were. I mean, look how bad they are. How could you vote that team in the preseason? So anyway, that's to me that's kind of where that's all coming from, and you have to be smart enough to figure that out and not fall for it. So, all right. So our phone number 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Yeah.
I've got one more from Dabo on the other side because I find it fascinating comment he made versus the comments of an athletic director in the SEC made today.
I don't want you to steal everything we're going to play from Dabo. We're going to play him here in just a few minutes.
All right, I can hold off until we're done.
You're going to spill everything he's got to say. All right, we'll take your phone calls coming up after the break.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your rec case or any on-the-job injury. Call 803-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
To the stadium roar, he's the reason they come back for more. Sharp call slicing through the air, girls leaning in, they stop and stare. Chris Bergen's got that smooth style. They tune in close, they stay a while. Sharp voice cuts like a southern breeze. The girls from Myrtle, weak in the knees.
Yeah, baby.
I love it. Has your wife heard this song?
She has.
Yeah.
She was less impressed with it than I was.
Oh, she was less impressed. Well, she knows better.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. She knows better, and that's great, though. That's great. Okay, phone number 888-898-2525. It is here on Sports Talk tonight. It is a Talking Tuesday, and it's brought to you by Touchstone Energy Cooperatives. Find your co-op at touchstoneenergy.com. Let's go ahead and jump into the phone calls, also text messages coming your way. And we begin with Vern in Bishopville here tonight on Sports Talk. Hello, Vern. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
We're doing fine. It's good to have you back with us. Hope you've been well.
Yeah, I'm well. I hope you are too, because you were crying so, and stuff like I had to call you.
Yes, sir.
And try to kind of like pick you up about Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they got Lucifer Sweet and running Clemson, it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, he can't get his head on all that powder and stuff he was giving those players and stuff a couple of years back, and stuff like that. So, they're on the way down, down. I'm just being honest,
Mm-hmm. So
I hope that lets you know.
You think Clemson
not
is?
to worry yourself about them.
You think Clemson is going down, down, down? Is that what you said?
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're heading fast to the bottom. They won't be as low as some team, but their glory days is over. That's my opinion and something like that. So I didn't have to live with that. But anyway, the University of South Carolina. Let's get to them. The team that I really like, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
Yes. The University of South Carolina is that they depend on one man. It's not Superman. They depending on one man that take them to the promised land. And that Lenore Seller, when he is 20 years old, if he that old, and stuff, that's not going to happen. You need help. That rascal wouldn't let that dude with Lenore Seller out of the game. I hope I could get my hands on him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just love to drop something on him, 78. I think that's what his number is, 78. Well, let that happen to Lenore. I know why he did it. He did it on purpose.
Oh, now come on. Vern, you know better
You know
than
why
that.
he did it on purpose?
He didn't do it on
because
purpose.
Lenore's getting money. Yeah, Lenore's getting millions of dollars, and maybe he only getting a couple of dollars, just to eat lunch with. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gone. I'm just an old man, and stuff trying to start trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm getting up the air.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time, and you all be blessed.
Put on your Gamecock pajamas and go to bed. Thank you, Vern. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. Our callers. Bergie, what have we done? What have we created here?
Well, you want to talk about conspiracy theory. Let's throw that out there. The reason Cade Klubnik is struggling because the wide receivers don't want to catch passes for him because he makes more money than them. The reason that Lenore's got knocked out of a game is because the offensive line doesn't want to block for him because he makes more money than them as a whole.
Well, they better get used to that. The quarterbacks are always going to make more money.
Exactly.
In fact, I found it
in every walk of life.
I found it interesting today that Larry Williams from Tiger Illustrated, one of those guys that I do admire for the way he handles his business, and he wrote today with a headline story that Dabo Swinney, how's he going to deal with the second highest paid individual in the building, referring to the football building. The second highest paid individual. We know who the first highest paid individual is, and that's redundant, isn't it? We know who the highest paid individual is, and that's Dabo Swinney making $12 million a year, and he's referring to Cade Klubnik as the second highest paid individual, millionaire as he referred to him, which means in his mind and information that that Cade Klubnik makes more than any of the Clemson assistant coaches. Yeah, I think Klubnik. I think it was reported he was making 2.4, something like that, which I think would put him above all the other assistant coaches. So interesting that story was kind of interesting, and the dynamics that creates when you got $1 million quarterbacks in an office building, in a building where they make more money than their coaches. Let's face it, I mean, financial status impacts a lot of things in people's minds, how they look at you, how you're treated. So we'll see what comes of all that. Let's go to Tiger Bryan. Tiger Bryan, he'll be the wealthiest person in this conversation. Welcome in, Tiger Bryan. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm broke as a convict. Like I just got out of jail.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear he's out.
No, I ain't been in jail. You know better than that.
I know.
No.
Yep.
You know, Cohen, you know what you said? This Porter John, if you don't get, if Dabo don't get on the, if he don't get on the Porter John, I'm going to spend about 6 of them down there and put on his front yard.
Oh, no.
I ain't lying, because, I mean, we got the guy. Look at the defensive end from Purdue, and Woodrow talked all that junk, and Alexander, the quarterback, with the transfer from Alabama, outplayed him. I mean, what I'm seeing. I mean, but it is what it is. But
what is your overall feel? I mean, I know you love them, but I mean, seriously, what is your honest feeling about the first 3 weeks of the season?
Well, we had a chance in 2 games. I mean, I know everybody gets tired.
That's not Clemson football. Well, Tiger Brian,
No, it ain't.
That is just to say
Hey,
your reaction is we had a chance in 2 games. That's how you're looking at Clemson football. We had a chance.
No, hey, listen to me now. Let me fill it out now. You was Porter-John man, but you patent that name when they started this.
All right, hang on a second. If you can, hang on. We got to go to a hard break, and we'll come back to you. I want you to answer. Did you hear him, Bergie? Happy to be in 2 games. That's not
Clemson football.
The Clemson people that I know. You got to explain yourself, Tiger Brian, when we come back, and we'll be back.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy with a low temperature of 61. Tomorrow, very similar to what we've had today. A blend of sunshine and clouds to go with a high of 85. By Thursday, it's up to 88, and even 90 is a high for Friday. We're staying dry all week. Again, no rain anywhere in the forecast, and the weekend looks nice. Monday, fall arrives on the calendar, but it'll still feel like summer. Sunshine and a high of 87. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities in Utah have shared information indicating the 22-year-old suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative Charlie Kirk did a fair amount of planning ahead of time. Tyler Robinson appeared Tuesday before a judge on aggravated murder and other charges. A prosecutor earlier said he would file a notice to seek the death penalty. Parents of teenagers who died by suicide after interacting with AI chatbots are testifying before Congress. The parents of 16-year-old Adam Rain of California and 14-year-old Sewell Setzer of Florida were speaking at a Senate hearing about the dangers of AI chatbots. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 125 points, the Nasdaq dropped 14, the S&P lower by 8. More details at srnnews.com.
Hey, it's Kev. I'm hanging out with Ken, the owner of Broker Solar, a local company. Now, Ken, I know you have some solar pet peeves. These national guys, they're just not very honest.
One of the common myths in the solar industry is that you can get solar for free or some kind of government-paid solar, and that's simply not the truth. What you can get is a solid investment that has tax credits that will pay you back for years to come. That's one of the things that we promote at Broker Solar is proper education in what solar is and how you can take advantage of the incentives that are out there, local and federal.
Tell me more about these tax credits.
There's currently a huge federal tax credit that gets you a third of the system cost back. And on top of that, the state of South Carolina, we're lucky enough to have an extra 25% of that solar system cost come back to you in the form of tax credits, totaling for a 55% discount on your solar system back in tax credits.
Call Broker Solar. Call them now, 803-807-7417 or online, brokersolar.com.
It's painting season in the Midlands, and Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovation sets the tone for inspired living. Watch your home change from ordinary to outstanding with colors that liven every wall and craftsmanship you can trust. Michael and his team are fully licensed, bonded, and insured. They care for every detail inside and out of your home. Let's give your home the style and care it deserves. Call 922-5615. Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovations, where every project reflects pride.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Sweet from Sweet Comfort Services HVAC. We're locally owned and operated, which really helps keep pricing reasonable. With lower overhead and more accountability, we stand by the systems we install, our repairs, and our parts. Most nationally owned companies know they have plenty of work this time of year when it's really hot. We'll treat you great no matter what time of year it is. Call Sweet Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143. That's 803-331-8143.
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners. So the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Talk Media Network. This is the best day of your life because you're with us here on Sports Talk. We make every day just that much better. Yeah, we do, Josh Plummer. As a matter of fact, we do. That's what we do here on Sports Talk. We uplift the sports fan of South Carolina. We don't leave them in the doldrums. We uplift. We motivate. We exhilarate. We celebrate.
The only thing motivating about sports in the state is the Blue Hose, and that's the honest truth right now.
Yeah. Well, they are not the only undefeated team in our state. And you should mention that Newberry is undefeated.
That's fair.
You should mention that Benedict is undefeated. You should mention that Anderson University is undefeated. You should mention that I think that's it for the undefeateds. Am I forgetting anybody? Furman's lost. Wofford's lost. State is lost. Allen is lost. Coastal's lost. South Carolina's lost. Clemson's lost. That's it, I think, for the undefeateds. Am I forgetting anybody? Erskine's lost. That's it.
Is Charleston Southern lost?
Yeah. Citadel's lost. Yeah. That's it. We got 3 undefeateds. Newberry. It's time for Newberry and PC to play the Bronze Derby now. While they're at the top of their game, Bergie, let's promote it. Let's do a midweek. They should do it midweek between games that they've got now. Screw the NCAA. We want to play each other, and we're going to play.
Show up in Joanna and go play. Find a field somewhere in Joanna and go play.
I dare you to try to stop us.
They can carve out a section of the interstate and just play it on 26.
There we go.
Just pause both lanes, all lanes at 26, and just play it on 26. Great idea.
It's not possible.
It's very
Why
possible.
do you say things that just aren't possible?
I think it's just lay down some turf.
That's about as likely as you getting a date with Miss South Carolina. That's about how likely that is of happening.
It's very likely.
You know. All right, let's go back to Tiger Bryan. Phone number 888-898-2525. All right, we're back at you, Tiger Bryan. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna tell you. I said we had a chance in both games we lost. The defense didn't stop Georgia Tech. The offense didn't produce in LSU game. I mean, you was telling me I was happy they was in the game. No, we should have won both them games. But all the Tiger fans, don't give up. Hey, get the royal bus out. Come on, get the royal bus out. It's coming.
You think you're gonna turn it around here and have a run to the finish, a 9-game winning streak?
Out. That's all I got to say. Get the roll bus out.
Get the Roy bus
go
out.
ahead and down my boys. Hey, hey, tell all the Gamecock fans we don't. Dabo don't won 2 natties, and they ain't won no natty in football. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good night. I love y'all. Enjoy your show. Go Tigers.
Thank you, Tiger Bryan. That's true. Clemson's got 3 natties in football. Gamecocks got no natties in football. Gamecocks got 2 natties in baseball. Clemson got no natties in baseball. Gamecocks got 3 natties in women's basketball. Clemson's got no natties in women's basketball. Clemson's got 4 natties in men's soccer. I think it's 4.
3.
Is it 3?
I think it's actually, I believe it's 3. I think for whatever reason, they've got the same number of men's soccer championships that Carolina has women's basketball titles.
Okay. South Carolina's got a women's track championship. And that's it, I think, if you don't count the bowling team of 1973 led by Guppy Troop. But that was a club. That really wasn't a varsity team.
And I back up, you're right. Men's soccer at Clemson does have 4 national championships.
Well, you know why I know that? Because every time you get off of exit 19 to go to Clemson, they have a big sign that says Clemson, home of 4 NCAA men's soccer championships.
Yep, 84, 87, 21, and 23.
Oh, they also have a natty in golf. They have a men's national championship in golf. Clemson. With Larry Penley.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the big guy? Really big guy. What was his name? Great golfer. Huge fellow. From up in the upstate. Played on that
William
golf
Perry?
team. He's about the size of William Perry. What was his name? Golly. He was famous for being a great golfer, but also because he was large. What was his name? Was it last name Patton? Last name Patton come to mind. Have we covered all the natties on both teams? I think so. I think we've covered both of them.
I think Gamecocks won a rowing championship, and
they don't have rowing.
Yeah, they do. It's like 5 years ago, though.
They don't have rowing.
No, Clemson has rowing.
Clemson has rowing.
Maybe it's a club team at Carolina then.
Doesn't count. That is twice you've come on the air to say nonsensical stuff.
You
know what?
Mentioned...
You're banned.
Oh.
Turn off the mic. I'm banning you as well as somebody else. You're banned.
Oh.
Okay. On to more serious stuff. Diego Pavia, remember him? Says he is shutting it down after 6 seasons. He'll not pursue a 7th year at Vanderbilt. His attorney earlier said in court they're going to stack on a challenge to the redshirt rule and ask for an injunction so Pavia could play in 26. But Pavia put out a tweet today saying, "This is my last year." And the rest of the SEC says, "Thank you." How about this? Hunter Yurachek, former AD at Coastal Carolina, now the AD at Arkansas. Apparently he's fed up with Arkansas football sucking. It seems to be the operative word these days around bad football teams. So he was at the Little Rock Touchdown Club, and he said that, according to this report by Arkansas Razorbacks, that Razorbacks athletics considering venturing into the 3rd lane of NIL. As it says here, a visual coined by Yurachek where programs go out of their way to play on the shady side of the NIL world. Quote, "Until we get our college athletics NIL enforcement agency up and running, you're going to continue to have schools operating in that 3rd lane, and that's a bad place to be in my opinion. It's bad for college athletics. I don't want to operate there, but to be competitive, we may have to figure out what that 3rd lane looks like for the University of Arkansas." So there you go.
I thought this was a fascinating piece because they talk about in the story that his budget at Arkansas is $180 million. And he's looking at it as not comparable to, according to the story, SEC schools, some of them have a $300 million operating budget. And so he's got to find ways to increase revenue. And that was going to be my point because Dabo talked today about Clemson will win another national championship. Clemson's athletic budget sits around $190 or $93 million, which is fairly comparable to what Arkansas has. So you've got a head coach of a football program at one place that believes they can win another national title. You have at a fairly comparable school the athletics director saying the same thing about his football program, that they can't compete.
So
I
here's my question.
I just thought that was interesting.
Here's my question. And what do the fans want? I mean, do you want to be in a world in college athletics, in college football, in college athletics in general, where success is based on the size of your budgets? I mean, just like Major League Baseball really used to be, and maybe to a degree not so much anymore, though you do have teams that outspend the others, like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets. But those three teams aren't those. I mean, I know the Dodgers are leading their division, but they're not having a huge year. And the Yankees are not going to win their division, and the Mets might not make the playoffs, and they spend all that money. So money doesn't guarantee success. Would you much rather have a situation like the NFL where everybody spends the same amount across the board, where there's revenue sharing, so you're not going to have one school with a $300 million budget competing with a school with a $150 million budget? Everybody is going to be limited on the budget. Everybody's going to have to be limited as to how much they can spend on the players, on their coaches, on recruiting. I mean, it really is insane. It's gotten so out of control, the amount of money that is spent for bad products. You think the people at the University of Texas are excited about what they're seeing right now from their team?
No. Gosh, no.
From their $1 million quarterback? So, but I mean, the idea here is, the reaction is, no, let's don't spend more and try and, fix things another way. Let's spend more. Let's throw more money at it and see if that fixes it. Well, I think life tells you, by and large, throwing money at problems is not an automatic fix, especially in the sports world.
But the Dodgers fans from last year are not going to get back their World Series because they're embarrassed that their team outspent everybody else in Major League Baseball.
True that.
And so, yeah, and your check's 100% correct, Phil. And that's where it needs to go. We have got to get some controls, some guardrails up, to use a popular term, some guardrails up. And I like your model. I think college football in particular, I mean, Hunter's at a place that every year they contend for a baseball national championship. Just haven't gotten it done, but there's no question Arkansas is one of the top 10 programs in the country. Their men's basketball program is going to be terrific here in the next couple of years. But we've got to have a situation in football that mimics what's going on in the NFL if you want to have the amount of fans continue to be excited about their teams.
Well,
like NFL fans are.
Until the colleges start looking at each other as what's good for one is good for the other, it's never going to get there. They've never looked at it that way. Dabo Swinney coming up.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. When you go afield, always make sure to positively identify your target. Know the identifying features of the game you're hunting, and know what's beyond your target in case you miss. If you want more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
You can listen to SC Wild on the Sports Talk Media Network or at dnr.sc.gov/podcasts.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Maybe your credit's seen better days, or maybe it's just never been quite where you want it to be. At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. Things don't always go according to plan. But that doesn't mean your goals are out of reach. Whether it's a car to get to work or a little extra breathing room in your budget, we offer personal and auto loans to help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that treats you like a person, not a number. We take the time to understand because you don't need a perfect credit score to start your next chapter. Visit a local Founders office or foundersfcu.com to learn more. Founders, helping you do life on your terms, helping you build a brighter financial future. All it takes is one visit to foundersfcu.com to get you started. Relax, you've got this with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
They lay it all bare. Competition fierce, but respect, it's there.
All right, time to get to Dabo Swinney, a Talking Tuesday here on Sports Talk. He talked all about Syracuse, how good they are, how scary they are, how the Tigers have to play a heck of a lot better. Then he turned his attention to defending his 17-year tenure with the Tigers.
In 17 years as a head coach, we've had one bad season. That was 2010. I mean, that's just the facts. And we won 6 games. So, I mean, listen, I know everybody's frustrated, but 17 years, we've had one bad season. One. And that was 6 wins. The worst season we've had in 14 years is 9 wins. And that's happened one time. So, and it's not that we haven't had bad moments. It's not that we haven't had highs and lows. We've had highs, we've had lows, we've had bad moments. And I would say this is a bad moment. This is a bad little stretch. This is a low. But we've always responded. And that's how we've been able to we've had 14 years in a row with a postseason win. I mean, we're not perfect. What's so bad about our program? What's so bad about it? Like, what's so bad about the worst season that we've had 14 years? How many programs in college football would sign up for one, and only once, 14 years of 9 wins? How many programs would sign up for that? In the playoffs, we all talk about, we've been 7 times in 10 years. Who can say that? If we stink because we haven't played for the national championship since January of 20, well, I guess we stink. Or we haven't won it since January of 19. We haven't won the national championship. Well, then I guess we stink. But why are we held to a different standard from all these other teams out there who ain't ever won nothing? We're not perfect, and we may suck this year. We may lay a freaking egg and go 6-6, but I don't think so. And I know that's going to disappoint a lot of people, but I don't think so. All right? The reason we are, I think, the best program in college football is because we've always battled. We've always responded. We are not perfect. We've had some bad moments. We've had some bad little stretches. We've had some lows, and this is one of those. But we have a consistency, and we have a will to win and a fight and a program that is, to me, the model in all of college football. Our kids graduate. We got great people. They compete their butts off. They fight to the end. They respond. That's why we're here. It's not that we've never had adversity. We've had lots of adversity. That's why when I say this program was built from adversity and for it, that's why. I've lived it. So I got faith. I got faith because I've seen it. And again, I got faith in the storm. And that's a little bit of a storm. It's disappointing. Again, and we could go schedule East University, West University, and South University, and everybody's all happy and peachy right now. But hey, we want to win at the highest level here. All right? And that's a part of the process. It's always been a part of the process. And you got to take the good, you got to take the bad, and right now we're in the bad with a walk-off 55-yarder and a very disappointing opportunity that we missed in the first game. But you give them credit, man. I give those teams deserved it. They earned it. They won it. And, let's respond like we always have. And let's let the story be written. So it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right.
The way you just defended your entire career here, are you feeling the criticism? Is it getting personal to you?
No, it doesn't. I really don't feel it. First of all, I don't let any of that in. I think that's a gift that I have, all right, because I don't let it in. I know it's bad because I get in all the text messages, I'm praying for you, everybody's sending me devotions, and you're going to get through this. And, that's when I know it's bad. That's how I feel it because I don't read it. I don't. I know people say that. I promise you I don't. When it's bad, I don't read nothing. Eddie Robinson told me that one time. I was a young GA at Alabama, 1993, and I'm just sitting there. I'm on my little computer thing breaking down whoever I was breaking down, And Eddie Robinson walks in my office. He's in a coat and tie. I never forget. I still got my notes. And he sits down, just me and Eddie Robinson. And he just wanted to talk. He wanted to know who I was. And he was in town visiting Coach Stallings. And he just walking around the building. And I'm just in there. And I guess it was around lunchtime. He just walks in and sat down. And that's one of the things he told me. He said, let me tell you something, young coach. He said, when it's bad, don't read nothing. That's what he said. He said, don't read the papers. Don't read nothing. And I know, and now, we got all this other craziness, but I don't. But yeah, so I'm human, right? And like I said, that's when I know it's bad, when I got people I hadn't heard from a long time and they're praying for me. The cool thing though is I've had a lot of coaches in this conference and other conferences that have reached out to me and encouraging me, and I really appreciate that. Listen, I've done this a long time, and I say that to you just so you know. Why would I not have faith? With what I've lived in my life, I just have to be crazy. So this ain't the worst thing that's happened to me in my life, and it won't be, and it won't be for these players. It's a bad moment, because we take pride in what we do and we're competitive. But this ain't the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Is criticism and all that. And listen, I get it, and it's warranted because people care, and I love being at a program that people care and it matters. That doesn't bother me. I get all that. I spent 13 years at Alabama, so I had thick skin when I showed up here at Clemson. I understand expectations and disappointment, and but man, nobody wants to win more than we do. So I love that, but it doesn't affect me. It's just part of it. But at the end of the day, man, I've learned a lot in this job. One of the things I've learned is when you have a lot of success, people want to tear you down. That just comes with it. People want to tear you down. They want to see you fail for either to make themselves look better or to promote whatever narrative or agenda they may have. That's part of it. And so you have to understand that. And I do. So I love my job, love the people I work with, where I work with, and I love it all. The bad, it's all good. And as a Christian, I know Romans 8:28 says all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. And I love the Lord. My life's built on a foundation of faith. My identity is not a scoreboard. My identity is not being a football coach. So I may not be happy, but I always have my joy. I really do, because I said this the other day. I've had enough praise and hate and criticism and love to last 3 lifetimes. My life is built on a foundation of Christ. It just is, and so that's where my peace comes from. And if you don't have that, it's hard to understand that. But I have a foundation of Christ. That's where my peace comes from. That's just how I'm built. And I just know that, adversity is a part of life. But it's a choice of whether or not you let it develop you or define you or destroy you. And I've always chosen to, just turn the pain into purpose. I've always done that. And that's everything goes back to my purpose in life. And this, what I do for a living, our purpose as a program. That doesn't change. No record. I don't work to a record. My identity's not tied up in a scoreboard. None of that stuff. And there's probably a lot of people who don't like to hear that, but we've had a lot of success here, and it hasn't been perfect. So I don't. I thrive in the battle. Honestly, I have my whole life. I watched my sister-in-law die at 49 years of age in the hospital, breast cancer. Listen, perspective is important. So if they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way, because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good?
Dabo Sweeney from today. All of it's on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, up on our SoundCloud as well, Sports Talk Media Network. He went on to say right there at the end, if they're I guess he's referring to Clemson fans. If you're tired of winning, if that doesn't make you happy, send me on down the road. He said, I'm 55. He says, I'm not going to the beach. I'll coach somewhere else. I mean, we just know that's hot air. We know he's just.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
But it sounds good.
It's just like I will find something else to do if we ever start paying players. Well, obviously that was that was not true.
You had to go bring that up, didn't you?
Well, I mean, he said it, and he can spin it every way he wants to, but that's exactly what he said. I'll go find something else to do.
He did
so,
say
no, he's
that.
not leaving Clemson, and Tiger fans don't want him to. They're just frustrated.
He did say that. I don't know why he's so upset. I mean, the criticism hasn't been all that bad. Be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing is charged with aggravated murder.
County Attorney Jeff Gray outlining evidence, including a text message confession to the suspect's partner and a note saying he had the opportunity to kill one of the nation's leading conservative voices and was going to take it.
Because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide.
The charges mean the 22-year-old could face the death penalty. I'm Julie Walker.
President Trump has filed a $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times and 4 of its journalists. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
In his latest confrontation with media outlets, the president's lawsuit accuses the New York Times of intentional and malicious defamation. The suit cites the newspaper's endorsement of Vice President Harris in the 2024 election. Writing on his social media platform, the president called the Times one of the worst and most degenerate newspapers in American history and said it's become a virtual mouthpiece for the Democratic Party. Greg Clugston, the White House.
A former U.S. Naval Academy midshipman has been charged with making a threat across state lines related to a lockdown and shooting at the Academy in Maryland last week. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Indiana said that 23-year-old Jackson Fleming was arrested Friday on suspicion of sending an online threat through a social media application. Fleming of Chesterton, Indiana, was charged with 1 count of transmitting a threat in interstate communication. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 125 points, the Nasdaq dropped 14. More at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Every day I speak with people who are worried and are feeling a lot of pressure because of credit card debt. That's why I'm very proud of what we do at Trinity. We just help. We give people the support they need, along with a real plan to become debt-free. Credit card bills are consolidated into a single monthly payment that is much less than what they were paying before. Most of our members end up saving thousands and even may improve their credit scores by as much as 200 points. I know from the bottom of my heart that I'm making a difference in the lives of the people we help. It just makes me really happy.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Julie, and I'm a Trinity counselor. Call me and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
House Republican leaders are moving to again head off votes trying to cancel much of President Trump's sweeping tariff plan. More from correspondent Bernie Bennett.
Republicans on the Rules Committee advanced a procedural measure Monday night that would extend until March 31st to block on efforts by Democrats and several Republicans to end the national emergencies underlying President Trump's sweeping tariffs, including on Mexico, Canada, Brazil, and his Liberation Day levies from April. It would also block resolutions of inquiry, measures that can be used by the House to compel the release of information from the executive branch. The House is set to vote Tuesday on the measure, which also tees up several D.C. crime and governance-related bills for floor debate. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Democratic leaders are lashing out at a stopgap spending bill to avoid a partial government shutdown at the end of the month. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters. Tesla's under
On-point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy with a low temperature of 61. Tomorrow, very similar to what we've had today. A blend of sunshine and clouds to go with a high of 85. By Thursday, it's up to 88, and even 90 is a high for Friday. We're staying dry all week. Again, no rain anywhere in the forecast, and the weekend looks nice. Monday, fall arrives on the calendar, but it'll still feel like summer. Sunshine and a high of 87. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make the point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we are back with you here, Sports Talk Media Network on a Talking Tuesday. Brought to you by Touchstone Energy Cooperatives. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and the plumber, Josh Cohen, at your service. If you're just joining us, you missed our comments from Dabo Sweeney from earlier today. Everything's up on our website. If you want to check it out, SportsTalkSC.com. Our SoundCloud account for the podcast versions of the show. That's at Sports Talk Media Network. Also at Spotify. Anything you miss, you can find it all there as well. Also on the website, SportsTalkSC.com. Don't forget to download the Chief Sports app to take Sports Talk with you everywhere you go. Great free sports app. All kind of great programs on there as well, so you will not be disappointed in that. Coming up, we're going to hear from Shane Beamer on this Talking Tuesday. Also, Josh Harris, president of Darlington, will be here. We'll talk about the exciting race at Bristol that concluded the first phase of the playoffs as 4 drivers do not advance. Before we hear from Beamer, back to your phone calls. 888-898-2525 is the phone number. And we're going to go next to Billy up in Greenville. Good to have you tonight from Greenville. Billy, welcome into Sports Talk.
Yeah, okay, just 2 questions. First is, do you expect Sellers to play this weekend? And both of y'all, just as an objective observer, what's wrong with Carolina?
All right. Let me do a disclaimer about Sellers. First of all, believe it or not, I am not a medical doctor.
No. Really?
Okay? Not an MD. I'm a PhD of sports, but I'm not an MD of medicine, okay? So, and neither are you, though you do have a wife who's involved in the medical business.
Who's a whole lot smarter about sports medicine than I'll ever be, so yeah.
Now, all we know
defer to her.
Is what we saw on the field and on the sideline. We haven't seen him since then, haven't heard from him since then, and, of course, Beamer hadn't said anything about it. Now, there was a report by Pete Nakos who cited a source as saying that he has a concussion. I don't know why South Carolina can't come out and say he had a concussion if that's the case, but either they have a leak in their program or Nakos talked to his agent or his family. Somebody he trusts told him it's a concussion, which I think was easy to conclude that's what he had. They weren't addressing anything on his body parts, not an arm or a leg or a knee or an ankle. And from all indications, they were dealing with a concussion type thing. Now, we don't know if he's in concussion protocol or not. If you're in concussion protocol, you may know this better than me. You got to go through certain things for X number of days before you can participate, right?
Correct. And if you started a baseline, and basically you have to go, I think it may be 48, 72 hours, I'm not positive about that, without any symptoms. And then you start your return to play, which is they'll take you outside. Can you handle light? Can you start running? Typical things you've got to deal with as a football player. And if you start showing any symptoms after that, you go right back to square one. So,
exactly.
I mean, that's why you see players who might miss 2, 3, 4 weeks because of a concussion, because they constantly are developing symptoms. I mean, let's face it, Phil, your brain is not meant to slam into your skull. That's not the way it was created. And so that's a major, major deal.
It's kind of floating around in there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hills does it often. So
Does what?
It's normal for him. It's normal for it to happen to him.
You're 3 for 3 tonight. 3 stupid comments.
I'm on a roll.
So we really can't say because we just don't know.
No,
and I don't want to
exactly.
sit here and speculate that, he's going to play, have no way of knowing. Because now if he doesn't practice by tomorrow, like we don't know. Now, see, this is what somebody should have done. Had I been at the press conference today, I have to do everything. I have to take care of the Clemson people. Can't be 2 places at once. Had I been at the South Carolina press conference, I would have asked Beamer, well, did Sellers practice this morning? And he would have either said yes or no comment. If he didn't practice this morning, that means he's got to practice tomorrow or they don't count him in the game plan.
Right.
But nobody asked that question, did they, Plummer? I got to do everything. Anyway, so we don't know. We don't know for sure at this particular time. We don't know the status. And then as far as, here's the other thing. I mean, the Gamecocks are 2-1. They did lose to a generationally good Vanderbilt team. You probably won't see Vanderbilt this good for a long, long time, I would say. And they're making the most of it. And they played poorly. They played poorly across the board at home. But, I mean, South Carolina should not be turning its nose down at 2-1, though this was one you were counting as a win to be 3-0,
Yep.
and then maybe thinking you might lose to Missouri and come home and beat Kentucky and be 4-1 at your first open weekend. Now you got to go beat Missouri, then come back and beat Kentucky. And we don't know, again, what the quarterback situation is going to be. If it is Luke Doty, I really feel confident. I think Luke Doty throws a nice football. I mean, call me crazy. I saw a guy throwing dimes out there the other night. He had good numbers. They weren't big numbers. They didn't take too many shots deep down the field, but he rolled out. He threw the ball on the run. He took off and ran. And keep in mind this, if Sellers is out, that means Doty's going to get the full week of practice with the first team. He's going to be much more prepared and ready to go than when he was rushed into the game the other night, Bergie. So that should make a difference in his play. They should get even more out of him. This is a guy, even though he hadn't played quarterback in a few years, he's got, with what he did the other night, he's got about 1,800 passing yards in his career at South Carolina. He's going to be that's probably got him in the top 15 or so all time.
Well, and I mean, coming out of high school at Myrtle Beach, I mean, he was a highly decorated quarterback. I mean, here's a guy who you felt like when he stepped on campus at South Carolina that he was the next guy. And for whatever reason, at times he just has not been. But I think what most people are wondering, it's been so long since he's had a chance to come out and show what he can do. Why do you turn to him? Or at least this was some of the comments I heard from Gamecock friends of mine. Why go to Luke Doty and not Air Noland or Cutter Woods? Let some of those guys give a shot. And I think probably what Shane Beamer is thinking in the heat of the moment, we know what Luke Doty is. We know how he can handle things. He's done it before in pressure-packed situations. He started for us, so we know what we get from him. Now I'd be curious to see how the competition develops if Lenoris is out of the mix for this week, how that works out going into Saturday.
Yeah. So I'm looking here. I just did a quick Google search, and this shows like Ron Bass passed for over 2,000 yards. He'd be number 19. This doesn't break it down. Haven't had time to look in the media guide. But, I mean, he could end up – Mackie Prickett had 1,600 plus yards. That's number 20. I got to believe that he's moved past him. I bet you he's in the top 20 of all-time passers at South Carolina coming off the game he had the other night. All right, thank you for the phone call. Let's take a look at some text messages here. Gamecock Tony from Lancaster says, hey, Dabo, winning the South Carolina High School League 8 of 10 years means nothing. It's not the SEC or the Big Ten. All right? Not real impressed with the ACC. This is from Barry. The egregious thing about the replay official was Sellers had laid on the field 2 or 3 minutes. Then the play was called, and only then did the replay booth stop the play. Totally unacceptable for any game. I would concur. He includes, after listening to Coach Sweeney, you think they'd lost their 15th game in a row. Yeah, he does sound like things are going much more poorly there than they actually are, because they have lost some close games, and they could have turned it around, could have won those games. From the 803, think about this. Clemson has played awful, unprepared, unpracticed, poorly coached, yet played a really good LSU team and lost by 7, played a good Georgia Tech team and lost by 3 on a last-second record-setting field goal. If they played the way they're capable, they might be the team we all thought they were.
No doubt.
I think
that's what has Tiger fans frustrated.
Yeah. You think he's right when he says unprepared, unpracticed, and poorly coached?
I don't know that. Yeah, I'm not sure about the poorly coached and unprepared. If that's the case, then that's a big time indictment of not just Dabo, but also of. I can't imagine you look at that Clemson defense and think Tom Allen's not doing a very good job with them. Now, I think you have some fair questions to ask of Garrett Riley, but I don't know that they're unprepared and poorly coached.
Well, the defense did come out, and Georgia Tech went right down the field. Then Clemson got a goal line stop. Then the offense went out and turned it over, and the defense held them to 3, I think it was, at that point.
Yes.
And the offense, just doesn't look like it can line up and just move the ball down the field on you. They can hit some big plays, but just lining up and mashing you doesn't seem to be their forte so far this year.
So back to our discussion from last night, is that on Garrett Riley or is that on the players?
Yes. Probably a combination, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
His play calling leaves something to be desired, to be honest with you, from watching him. From what I expected, what I expected has not been the case. I mean, the production, the bottom line is the production. I mean, here I am saying play calling. I don't know if it's play calling or players executing the plays. You see some good plays called for Clemson. They don't make the play. They overthrow the pass is dropped, they miss a block. I mean, same thing with South Carolina. Is it the play calling or is it the performance? A couple of more here. The up-tempo excuse doesn't work in the Sellers play because he was down for 5 minutes. The whole medical staff was on the field before they got him up. No excuse there. Going back to there's no excuse for that replay not being done in time before they got back up to the line. Just no excuse. And this is from LG843. Is Duckworth staying with the Gamecocks? Might he be swaying to LSU? Is Kilgore a corner or safety in the NFL? Could Vikings, Packers, or Panthers be a fit? Well, Duckworth was in this weekend for an unofficial visit, and he hasn't been quoted. I haven't seen a quote from him. Feeling is everything is still good between Duckworth and South Carolina at this time, but you never know in this world what's going to happen. Kilgore is a safety. That's what he's playing at South Carolina. He's playing the nickel, so I guess he'd be a safety in the NFL, and sure, he could fit in for any of those teams. He could probably play for the Panthers.
Start for the Panthers right now.
Absolutely. All right, with that, let's go to Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer, his press conference today. Here is the Gamecocks head coach setting the stage for this trip to Mizzou.
Shane, is there any kind of update on Lenoris or any other injuries?
No, we have an injury report for an SEC game that we release on Wednesday nights.
And did you get an answer from the league office about the roughing the passer and then why the replay on Lenoris took so long?
Yeah, I had a couple conversations. Yes, to answer your question, we got a response from them, and then they actually reached out to me. They initiated a conversation yesterday morning, which I appreciate John McDade, the head of officials, doing. I don't know how much I can say about all of them. I think they felt like the two roughing the passers were legitimate calls and warranted. And, I understand where they're coming from. I think it's tough to teach Brian what to do in midair when he was leaping. He had left his feet about the time the quarterback left his feet, and outside of twisting his body midair, I'm not really sure what to tell him, but his body weight landed on the quarterback. And we know that if your body weight lands on him, you're putting it in the official's hands. And that's why that was called. They felt like Dillon's was a good call. And then as far as the how long it took to initiate the replay, we had a good conversation about that, and I think operationally, they feel like that's an area to improve.
With some of the offensive struggles you've had through the first 3 weeks, how much of it is kind of getting back to the drawing board and trying to find something schematically, and how much of it is kind of just coaching execution on some little things?
Yeah, I think every week it's getting back to the drawing board. Every week you have a different opponent that plays a different scheme, and every week you're trying to put together a plan to attack the scheme that the opponent plays defensively. Virginia Tech, South Carolina State, Vanderbilt, now Missouri, they're all different in structure and how they do things. So each week you go back to the drawing board to put together a plan, but nobody's sitting in there just, pulling crap out of midair and just putting together a new offense. We're doing a lot of good stuff. We've just got to do it consistently, more consistently than what we're doing.
Do you need Lenoris to practice a certain amount of time to feel comfortable putting him in on Saturday?
Yeah, we have a pretty consistent policy that if you don't practice Tuesday or Wednesday, you're not going to play. I don't care who you are, that if you don't get out there and practice on Tuesday and Wednesdays, especially, it's really tough to just practice on Thursday. Practice on Thursday is important here, but it's a little bit of a shorter day, and the bulk of your game plan is in on Tuesday and Wednesday. So whether you're an offensive player, defensive player, special teams player, we need to be able to see you do something on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Shay, I know you've talked about it a lot before with trying to build a pocket for Lenoris. I'm curious, how do you feel like he's done in the pocket this year? And is there any part of you that feels like for the offense to have more success, it comes down to maybe trying to have Lenoris run the football a little bit more?
As far as the pocket, I think he's done well. I think the South Carolina State game, I think I mentioned it last week, where there's a third down that we throw to Mike Smith, and he does a great job stepping up in the pocket and making throws. We've the protection was good the other night. Again, we had 2 sacks, and one of those was because another position missed an assignment, and the other one was because we had a bad snap that Lenoris had to fall on it. Other than that, the protection was good and the pockets were good. I don't know what conspiracy theories are out there, but I've never said, and no one in this building has ever said, we need to run the quarterback less. Like, I hear all this crap about they're not running the quarterback enough. We're calling the same goddamn plays we called last year, guys. And we're not saying we need to run Lenoris less. I'm not getting on you, Jack. I know there's like this conspiracy theory going back to the bowl game that we see it don't run Lenoris as much. We're running Lenoris plenty. And some of those are reads where Lenoris can hand it or pull it and keep it. Some of those are RPOs where he can run it or throw it. And there's some of those are called design runs that he runs. And I would say every week we want to do what we need to do to win the football game. We ran him the other night. We ran him against Virginia Tech. We ran him against South Carolina and South Carolina State. And teams aren't dumb either. In our mind, last week, we wanted to get the ball out of the Vanderbilt quarterback's hands on some of those zone reads. And these teams we play, they have good coaches, and a lot of them are going to say, don't let 16 carry the ball, because we've seen what happens when he carries the ball too. So we're doing what we got to do to win football games each week. And if that means running Lenoris, then we're going to run Lenoris or Luke or Air or Cutter or Jimmy Francis or Brandon Cunningham or whoever we got in there playing quarterback.
After the loss to Ole Miss last year, you said it was extra frustrating because you had a really great week of practice. You said similar things. Just, are you noticing in game, is it a lack of sort of like leadership on the field, execution focus, and going forward, how are you going to kind of approach games that I guess go poorly when the week of practice and preparation went well?
Yeah, I think that's just sports in general. It is frustrating though when you feel really good going into a game. And I did last week. We had a great week of practice. There was no doubt in my mind we were ready to play from a emotional standpoint and excited to be out there. I mean, it was our best week of practice. And then we went out there on Saturday and performed poorly, coaches and players. So certainly when that happens, you look back and there are things you missed. Are there things that we need to be doing differently, better? I think you're always tweaking throughout the season. And this week's no different. But at the same time, it's continue to stay the course and continue to do the things that we did well last week. And then when we get out there on Saturday nights, we have to we have to execute better than what we did. And that's really what it comes down to. Coaches and players, we have to be better because there was way too much good throughout the week last week for us to perform like we did on all three phases. Because there's plenty of plays when you watch that tape on Sunday, offensively, defensively, and special teams where give the opponent credit. But if we just perform a little better, it's we're probably feeling a little bit different on Sunday morning.
I know you said, the injury report's coming out on Wednesday, but, say Lenore's can't go. Is Luke Doty penciled in as the backup, or is there?
Yes.
That process is Air can't, have a good week of practice.
No, we compete. And I just told our team at the end of practice today, like whoever started against Virginia Tech, there were some different people that started against South Carolina State. Whoever started against South Carolina State, there were some different people that started against Vanderbilt. Whoever started against Vanderbilt, there's going to be some different people maybe that start against Missouri. Like practices matter around here. How you perform in games matter around here. We don't just, here's the starting lineup for game one and it's the same thing for the next 12 games or 11 games after that. Practice matters. So yeah, quarterback position, Lenore's, when he's the starter, he's got to continue to compete and continue to be the starting quarterback. So competition is a core value of this program, and that comes down to practice. And yes, if the game was today and Lenore's was not able to play, then yes, Luke would be the starter. But just like every position, we've got to continue to compete, and quarterback position's no different. And those guys are doing some really good things. Air and Cutter, I mean, they're really getting better, along with all these guys on our team.
Last week, Vandy liked to slow things down. This week, it seems like Missouri will try to speed things up in this way they play. How are you getting those guys ready for, I guess, that difference in how those two offenses play?
Yeah, they mix it up. Missouri wants to control the ball. I mean, if you look at their time of possession, yeah, they may be going fast at times, but they control the ball and they stay on the field on third downs and they get their butts off the field on defense on third down. But, they're not, I wouldn't say they're not necessarily Ole Miss with fast tempo every single play, but they do mix it in there, and you've got to be ready where they hit a big play and all of a sudden they're going fast and they're putting formation into the boundary and they're throwing shots over your head. We've got to do a great job of being able to get lined up and prepare for that. So it's a little bit different than the style of Vandy, but it's still run the football, control the clock, be physical, and then be able to throw the ball down the field, which they've been able to do also.
Is there any update on Coach Robertson and his status for this week?
He's making progress. He wasn't in the building last Thursday, but he was over here in the parking lot after practice. And players got to see him, coaches got to see him. So he was here last Thursday. His wife drove him over, and he wanted to see everybody after practice. Everybody went outside and saw him, and we're in communication with him and talking regularly, and he's getting better every day. Thanks for asking.
Defensively, there seem to be a few missed tackle opportunities that keep Vanderbilt behind the chains or prevent third down or first down conversions. Is that even more of an emphasis this week with some of that explosive run game you were talking about with them?
Yeah, if you miss tackles against these guys, it's going to be a long night. And we've been a good tackling team. We weren't the other night. Our players know that they've got to get 11 hats to the ball. That it's hard to bring these running backs down with just one guy. It takes all 11 flying to the ball, and that's going to be a critical part of it, because we haven't, our trips to Missouri, we haven't done a great job of stopping the run, whether it be in 2021 or 2023. We didn't do a lot well on those trips, but it starts with stopping the run against these guys, and we haven't done a good enough job of that.
Rasul had 15 carries on Saturday. Oscar had 1. Was that something that you saw in practice, or just how he was running throughout the game?
A little bit of both. We knew we needed to get Sewell going, and Oscar's, they're a great kind of 1-2 punch right there. Knew we wanted to get Sewell going. Oscar had been a little banged up in practice last week. He was fine, but had a little bit of an upper body injury that limited him. He still practiced both days, but limited him a little bit from being 100%. And Sewell had a good week. And then when we got into the game, Sewell was certainly running the ball really, really well. And again, goes back to we didn't play a ton of plays on offense, and that's kind of how it worked out because of it.
You've talked a lot about practice matters, but what is, like, for you, what is your definition of that? Like, what do you look for in practice that makes you feel like, okay, like these guys are doing what I expect?
Oh, great question. Executing the call, offense, defense, special teams, whatever, play we have called. We put a lot of time as coaches into planning practice and what we want to get done, the plays we want to run, the defenses we want to call, the kickoff returns and punt blocks we work on. So it's very detailed how we do things. So I want to see people execute what we're asking them to do. I want to see the strain and the finish and just the technique and the mentality that you want to play with, where it be pad level, footwork, hand placement, all the fundamental details, and then just the energy and the physicality that you want to play with. I mean, I'm a believer, like, you don't practice soft and then think you're going to go play physical on Saturday night. You need to see that. And we get after it in practice. We do. And I want our practices to be harder than the games in a lot of ways with how we do things. And I feel like we create that environment. And I just want to see us each day, like I said, execute what we're asking our guys to do, but then doing it with the right mentality that carries over into Saturday when you play.
Shane, you just mentioned that, things go bad. Obviously, the vitriol comes out. Have you had to have any other specific sit-downs with Mike or Clayton or whoever about, hey, maybe we need to tweak this or do this to get better at what we need to get better?
I think I'm doing that all the time. After wins, we're doing that. And after Virginia Tech, I mean that. Like every game, we come in on Sundays and I meet with the offensive staff, the defensive staff, and then special teams, and we talk about what we did well, what we didn't do well, what maybe we weren't prepared for that the opponent did. Something that we did from a personnel standpoint, there was a bad matchup, what we would do differently when we play this team next year while it's all fresh in our minds. We do that after every game. And so I don't feel like, this week has been different. I'm not going to sit here and bury my head in the sand and pretend like Saturday night was good enough. We got our butts kicked, and that starts with me. So look at what I can do better and differently, and then talking to the leaders on this team about that. And that's every week.
Shane Beamer, back in a moment.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy with a low temperature of 61. Tomorrow, very similar to what we've had today. A blend of sunshine and clouds to go with a high of 85. By Thursday, it's up to 88, and even 90 is a high for Friday. We're staying dry all week. Again, no rain anywhere in the forecast, and the weekend looks nice. Monday, fall arrives on the calendar, but it'll still feel like summer. Sunshine and a high of 87. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Get ready, anglers and hunters. September 19th through the 21st, join us for the last cast tent sale at Palmetto State Armory. Land up to 75% off from top brands like Berkeley, Abu Garcia, and Plano. From rods and reels, gun cases to backpacks, we've got everything you need to take on your next adventure. Join us all weekend long for hot deals, pro fishing tips, food trucks, and more. See you September 19th through the 21st at Palmetto State Armory, 3760 Fernandina Road, Columbia.
Hollywood Gold. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Prosecutors brought a murder charge Tuesday against the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk and outlined evidence, including a text message confession to his partner and a note left beforehand saying he had the opportunity to kill one of the nation's leading conservative voices, quote, and I'm going to take it, unquote. DNA on the trigger of the rifle that killed Kirk also matched that of Tyler Robinson. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray said while outlining the evidence and announcing charges that could result in the death penalty if Robinson is convicted. Robert Redford has died at 89. The Hollywood golden boy who became an Oscar-winning director, liberal activist, and godfather for independent cinema died in Utah on Tuesday. More details at srnnews.com.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
Ronald Reagan once said, man is not free until government is limited. In South Carolina, our spending is up 59% in 4 years, and we are not free. Where's the money going? Not to roads. You all know that. Not to schools. We're 42 out of 50. I'm Ram Reddy. Go to dogesc.com and join the revolution to cut spending, cut taxes, and return the money to the citizen.
Paid for by My Voice SC. 2 Office Park Court, Suite 103, Columbia, South Carolina, 29223.
What's important in an insurance agent? I'm David Jolly of the Higgins & Halloran Insurance Group. First and foremost, I make myself available when you need me. And let's face it, it's not always a convenient time. I communicate with the folks that I work with, and I take insurance personally. That means I'll look for the best rates for you and do everything I can to help you when you need to file a claim. When you think of insurance, I ask that you think of me, David Jolly. Reach me at Higgins & Halloran Insurance Group at 803-850-0054.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing Friday Night Prime Rib Special. Our great chefs at Flight Deck Restaurant have created a great prime rib dinner special, which includes a 10-ounce slow-roasted certified Angus beef prime rib dinner, served with 2 sides of your choice for only $22.95. And if you mention we love Flight Deck, you get a free cookie or soft drink with your meal. So come see us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy a delicious slow-roasted prime rib dinner. While you're here, check out the new and improved arcade with over 33 games. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
Okay, it is time to talk about the NASCAR scene after we wrapped up the first phase of the playoffs. 3 races down, 12 drivers advance, 4 go home. That leaves us with a top 8 and then 4 on the bubble for the next round. Let's welcome in Josh Harris, president of Darlington Raceway. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great Tuesday evening.
It is indeed. Beautiful night. Too bad we're not driving a race car somewhere. Bristol, under the lights, Saturday night, delivered once again. Great finish coming off of a final restart. Explain to me why Keselowski bumped Christopher Bell ahead like he did. It seems to me like, all he did was give Christopher Bell the comfortable advantage he needed to beat him to the finish line.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I know Brad, anxious to try to get another win. It's been since last year at Darlington in the spring that he won, and I think he drove it in there hard into that last turn and kind of just where the bumpers met. I don't think he really wreck.
Okay, we're gonna. Hey, Josh, let us call you back because you got a bad cell. We got you in a bad cell area. So why don't we call you back? We'll drop him. Go ahead and drop him, Plummer. Josh, we'll call you right back because you're in kind of a bad cell area. You must be over there near Sardis. Probably driving.
Yes, he just drove by the house.
Did you wave? Did you wave? Were you sitting on the front porch and you waved to him?
Yes.
Was he driving the Darlington pace car?
That's how I noticed who he was. Yeah,
he's probably.
Josh cruises around town in that all the time.
He probably,
or at least if he doesn't, he should.
He probably.
I know I would.
Was breaking the speed limit. We'll get him back on with us here momentarily to let him continue. They go to New Hampshire this weekend. That's the next race in the playoffs, race number 4. You got Denny Hamlin going in as the points leader in the playoff standings, followed by Byron and Larson and Bell and Blaney. That's your top 5. Josh is back with us. All right, sir, go ahead.
Hey, sorry about that, Phil.
That's
okay. What I was saying was I think Brad was just trying to move Chris out of the way but not wreck him, given he's in the playoffs, Brad's not. He didn't want to ruin his race. He wanted to try to get him out of the groove, see if he could drive under him. But like you said, that bump actually just kind of propelled him forward instead of moving him out of the groove.
So instead of just trying to power by him one way or the other and risk turning him and wrecking him, he kind of took the high road, so to speak, in driving terms.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. Brad's an experienced veteran. He realizes he's not in the playoffs. Christopher's racing for more. If he could have had him stumble and run up the track and lose his momentum by that move, I think that's what he was maybe hoping for, but didn't want to spin him out there on the last turn.
Yeah.
That probably would have not been good for Brad, going forward, just in terms of somebody looking for a little retribution down the road.
And the likelihood of that happening at Bristol on that last lap is pretty high, right? We see that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it a lot over the years where guys have been able to go into that, into a turn and put the bumper to a guy and get him a little bit loose. And I think just the angle Brad hit him, he wasn't too far on either side of the bumper, and it ended up just kind of propelling him forward.
Yeah. Clean bump. What about JGR now, sweeping the first 3 playoff races?
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely showed up these first round of the playoffs, made their presence felt, and certainly look like the organization to beat. We'll see how things shape out in the next couple of races, but going to some tracks where they should be pretty strong as well.
So you look at the 12. Of course, you've got the top 8 who are trying to advance to the next round, and then you got the 4 in the cutoff line. And I mean, as I look, I'm saying look out for Joey Logano, who's currently 10th. I mean, any of these guys could grab a win and advance, but down below, I'd have to say keep an eye on Logano.
Yeah, I think he's one you got to look at. I mean, I think 8 through 12 or 6 through 12 are within about 10 points of each other. So it's really anybody's championship here going into the next 3 races. You got to be on top of your game, and if you get somebody, this past week you had a Ty Gibbs up there running well, a non-playoff driver. If they get up there and steal a win, then it really becomes more incumbent to have consistent finishes in this round.
And I'm looking at number 8. I'm just thinking about some of the guys that not necessarily your long shots, but Bubba Wallace, who's had a really good season, a pretty solid season, and he's sitting there at number 8 with these tracks that are coming up. How do you like his chances for advancing?
Well, I think when you look at, obviously he's not a JGR, a Gibbs team, but he's a Toyota, and they've been running strong. Bubba's had a good summer leading into the playoffs, so I think his chances, are just as good as anybody there. Even the Larsons and the Hamlins and the Bells at the top, one bad race in this round could really put the pressure on them too. So I don't look at anybody being safe. I think these guys, it's a reset, and they've all got to go out there with a goal of winning one of these races to lock themselves in and not risk getting in on points.
So New Hampshire this week, and that's basically what, a 1 mile track, and then Kansas, which is about a mile and a half, and then you have the road course, the Roval at Charlotte. I mean, any particular driver or drivers you would expect to excel at any of these 3 tracks? Anybody that has particularly a particular strength, you think, at any of these 3 tracks? Would you look for Chase Elliott in particular at Charlotte, maybe?
Well, I'll start with New Hampshire first. It's a flat track. Christopher Bell has been really good there, especially in this next-gen car, so I would certainly keep an eye out for him. But also your Ford, specifically your Penske teams, this track sets up a lot like the final in Phoenix. So you got to keep an eye on them. I think Hendrick, your best chance probably going to the 1.5 miles at Kansas. Keep an eye on those guys that always tend to run pretty well. And then Chase Elliott certainly on the road course at the Roval.
Josh Harris, president of Darlington Raceway, with us for his Tuesday visit. And, of course, every Tuesday, NASCAR drops the hammer on somebody, and it came down on Joe Gibbs Racing and Denny Hamlin's team today. Josh, 2 of his crew members suspended, and they should know better because NASCAR has made it very clear you have a tire rolling down the street. Somebody's going to pay for this. The 2 crew members he's going to lose for 2 races, their front tire changer and also the jack. First off, do they have backups for these guys like every other sport? The frontline guys have to go out for for whatever reason they have a sub, or can he dip into Ty Gibbs's crew since he's not in the playoffs and maybe pull some of those guys up?
Well, I think what you'll see that they'll do is Gibbs tends to loan out crews to other teams, so they'll pull probably from there. Maybe Ty Gibbs' team would be a consideration, but anytime one of these drivers loses a wheel, that penalty is pretty standard.
Yeah, so you think they would just? I guess my question is, does he automatically have other guys in sort of Denny Hamlin's camp, if you will, that could fill in for them, or would they have to go to some other team?
Yeah, I think they'll probably go to another team. More than likely, it could be from Ty Gibbs' crew since he's not in the playoffs,
right.
Or Joe Gibbs does have a partnership. Well, not a partnership, but they train pit crews for multiple teams. It's kind of like what happened with Ross Chastain. They were able to pull two of the pit crew members from another team to put on Ross's team for the playoffs. They could pull some guys from a team that they're a crew that they're loaning out to one of the other teams if they don't take it from Ty Gibbs.
I saw that Kyle Petty had a video about why, moving forward, that Hendrick Motorsports should hang on to Alex Bowman. There's no question he had a rough year. I mean, is his ride, do you think, in jeopardy moving forward? I think probably has, another year or so on his contract. I mean, he's not in serious jeopardy of losing his ride with Hendrick, do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, a lot of times these things don't get talking about publicly until it's probably a decision has been made. I think Alex is under contract for 2026. He has a really good partner with Ally that I think fits well with him, and they really like Alex. So that's always a strong consideration for these teams. Alex has struggled this year, but I think with another year under his contract, unless he were to go winless and really struggle, to start off the year, maybe through the middle of next year, to me that'd be the only reason I would see Hendrick maybe looking around. And then I think it would come down to who's out there that could fill that spot and do a better job. And sometimes that may influence it as much as anything.
I hope you're holding onto the steering wheel with two hands here. I don't want you to drive off the road because I'm going to utter a little praise for NASCAR here. In that you go back a few years ago with their television contracts, and they spread things over a variety of different outlets, and people were like, where do I find this? Where do I find that? This is crazy. This will never work, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? As it is in a lot of things, NASCAR, I think, was ahead of its time because look around now. Look where the NFL is. Look where college football, basketball are. Look where the NBA is over all these different outlets. If you want to find your team in any of those sports, I mean, just like with NASCAR, you're going to have to go to a TV guide, if there's such a thing, and locate them. So my point is, NASCAR was kind of ahead of everybody else in taking this approach with their television partners.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a forward-thinking approach. Certainly, there's an argument to be made to say take less, revenue and put it all on broadcast and make it easier for fans to find. But I think there's a balance there. These streaming networks and Amazon Prime, and I think you saw the quality of the product as well was really good with Amazon Prime this summer as a new broadcast partner. I saw today even where the Masters is going to add coverage for 2 hours on Thursday and Friday starting next year on Prime Video. So kudos to everyone for forward thinking. I'm a sports fan. If there's a sport I want to watch, I can generally take a 30 seconds or so and find where I can find it.
Yep. It's a little bit of a pain, but you can find it. Last thing, going back to the weekend you guys just had, the Cookout Southern 500, very successful weekend with your attendance and everything else. Have you gotten the numbers back on the economic impact? Because like Bergie and I were there on Thursday, and when I left him, I went into downtown Darlington and had a hamburger steak at a really fine place at the Square, so I contributed. Have you gotten the numbers back yet?
Well, we will do another economic impact study probably here in the next year or so. But the last one we did just a couple of years ago, the impact is real. It's over $100 million annually to the PD region, and a little over $115 million for the entire state, just in terms of the impact that the races at Darlington bring to the area. We're proud of that. We're proud to be able to contribute to the local economy, the tourism economy, and then be able to bring people to South Carolina and show them that great hospitality that you get to experience when you live here every day.
Yeah. Well, you're already at least $23.99 to the good because of my meal there on the square.
That's a heck of a hamburger.
Did you go to the pub on the square?
Yes, exactly. I did.
I know Rambo, the owner. Rambo owns the pub on the square. He's got a pizza place there, and he's got an ice cream joint. So next time you're in town, check them all out. It's great to see, and we appreciate you supporting our local businesses right there on the square.
His name is Rambo?
His last name is Rambo, yeah.
His first name's John.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Does he go into a grocery store and say, blow it up, I don't shop here anyway? Well, that's the wrong movie. I'm sorry.
He's a great friend.
That's the wrong Stallone movie. I'm sorry. Hey, John, thank you very much. Josh, I'm sorry. Josh, I don't know who John is. Josh, thank you very much.
John Rambo.
Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you,
Josh.
Thanks,
Josh.
Thank you, Josh, John, Rambo.
Did you really just say that NASCAR made a good decision by putting the Southern 500, the most historic race that they have on USA Network?
All I was saying
Come
was,
on, Phil.
They were ahead of all the other sports in doing this. You don't have to like it. I'm just saying they were ahead of everybody.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
The difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosseller Brown. Did you know Lawyer Lisa offers a prevention plan add-on to our services? If you already have a trust or just need some updates, ask about getting your ducks in a row and getting all of your wishes set out before it's needed. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, to recruiting on this Talking Tuesday, brought to you by Seawell's. Time for a menu update.
Yes, I have bad news though. Friday they're closed. They are closed on Friday.
How dare they be?
Yeah, well, I guess they have a private event that Friday and Thursday, so no roast beef Friday. They are open to tomorrow. Tomorrow's the only day.
But we weren't invited to either one of those events.
I guess you could probably show up. They might kick you out.
Well, yeah,
They
if you're
may
not
kick you out,
invited. Yeah. All right, what you got?
So today, you don't want to probably hear about today,
No,
but
I don't care about
tomorrow's the only day they're open, I guess. I mean, they were, sliced beef brisket, fried flounder fillets, and Polish kielbasa with peppers and onions.
Is it really from Poland? Polish kielbasa.
Where else would it be from?
Sounds good. That's the daily luncheon buffet at Seawell's, 11 to 2, but only on Wednesday now. It was today, but Wednesday of this week. Private party. Stay away unless you're invited on Thursday and Friday. But you can always check with them to help you with your very special event with fall beginning next week. Going to be a lot of weddings and a lot of parties and celebrations, and you need numero uno in the catering business. They're ranked number one by all of your family here at Sports Talk. That would be Seawell's. So just give them a call at 803-771-7385 and online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Talking with defensive end Franklin Whitley of Greenville High, 6'7", 270. He was a basketball player until this year. He played a little football in his youth, but he was a basketball player until he determined that football was his future. He's loving it, loves playing football, loves his team and his teammates, and the colleges are starting to take notice now. He's gotten recent offers from the likes of Virginia Tech, Auburn, Georgia Tech, and then Georgia offered a little while back. Clemson has been hinting at an offer. He's going back to Clemson Saturday. He's thinking Chris Rumpf, Dabo Swinney will step up with the offer while he's there. That's kind of what he's feeling. He was also there for the LSU game, so he's looking forward to his return. That was his first football game visit, and he really loved it, everything about it, the facilities, the atmosphere, etc. He was at Georgia Tech last Saturday for that game. He's also been to Virginia Tech for a game this season. Coming up, he'll go to Georgia when they play at Auburn, and he'll go to, let's say that again, he'll go to Auburn when they host Georgia, and he'll go to Georgia when they play Alabama. And South Carolina showing some interest, not as much as Clemson, but he is planning on going to a South Carolina game. Might be the South Carolina-Clemson game. Not long after his season, he plans to make his decision. Right now, he says, open to everybody, expecting more offers to come once he gets to these game days and builds the relationships with the coaches. Most likely will not sign in December, but that is still a decision he and his family are discussing. 3 games this season. He's totaled 13 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 7 quarterback hurries. That's according to his stats on Max Preps. 2028 center Brody Lorenzo, 6'3", 300 from Dutch Fork. He's going to visit Clemson on Saturday. And I had one other piece of recruiting news to get to tonight. 2027 running back Amario Spence, 6'2", 210 of Statesville, North Carolina. Not getting major attention yet, but he's a powerful running back from West Iredell High. Toledo is his only offer, but South Carolina running backs coach Marquell Blackwell had him in camp last summer and is interested and wants to see him more on game film this season. He said he had a great camp at South Carolina with his one-on-ones and his footwork, and they're just waiting on his game film. He plans to visit South Carolina for the Alabama game. He was in last year for the Akron game, and he's made multiple visits to USC this year. Back in the spring, he was in for the spring game. Really enjoyed being there for that. He was a guest at Wake Forest for their game last week against NC State. He's also planning to go to Virginia Tech. Going into his game last Friday, he had rushed for 420 yards, averaging 14.5 yards a carry and
Good
6
grief.
touchdowns. Yeah. He says, I'm going to try to run through your face. I'm not going to play patty cake with you. Every time you lay a finger on me or tackle me, I want you to hate that. I'm like a bruiser. All right, we'll keep an eye on that, Mr. Spence. Okay, that'll do it. Thank you, Bergie.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it tonight.
I hope you didn't burn dinner.
I did not.
Good for you.
Taco salad was good.
Ooh. And thank you, Plumber. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.